Hi there, it's Dina at the Realize Foundation, and today I'm here with Karyn, and I'm so excited that Karyn is going to be in book 3, which is coming out very soon. And I want you, Karyn, to tell everybody a little bit about what you wrote. What is your chapter about?
Okay, so my chapter is basically about my life. It's about me. And the title of my chapter is Beauty for Ashes. And it's also the title of a song that has meant a lot to me over the years. And it's also the title of a book that I read years ago that actually was the catalyst um, for starting me down the road to recovery from my abuse issues.
Yeah.
And I could I could talk for hours about what just the title Beauty for Ashes means to me. But I guess all I can really say is that if you really want to know what the title Beauty for Ashes means to me, you have to read my chapter.
It's hard to explain kind of what some of these chapters are about because they're so deep in some ways, and also what surrounds the words that you don't see is also another big part of the picture. And so I really appreciate that you shared your story in this book, because I know it's going to help people in the world that have gone through similar things. And I'm really proud of you.
Thank
So
you.
much.
Thank you, Dina. Um, I just want to say quickly, I guess the most important thing that I can really say is that, and this is how I actually start off my chapter, that by saying that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what you've been through, there's hope, and you're going to be okay. And there is absolutely nothing that can happen to you in this life that you can't get through. And I am a living, testimony to that. I've been through things in my life that I never I never thought that I would ever be able to get through anything um anything like that. But I'm still here, and I'm still, I'm able to talk about it today. And I'm here today so that I can talk about it and help others and be a light and be a beacon of hope for others.
Thank you, Karyn. And I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I got to meet you. And I'm glad that we've had so many conversations in Zoom rooms.
Mm.
But I want to ask you one more question, and that's, how has this book project of Scars to Stars helped you personally? And, was it the community or writing your story, or what was most helpful to you through this project?
That's a really deep question. And that it was really tough for me
Mm.
because um it wasn't necessarily well received by everyone. And I had to do some editing, and um I really had to um come to terms with some things within myself, um and realize that my story is my story, and that whether anyone else believes it or whether anyone else sees my story the way I lived my story doesn't change my story. My story is always going to be my story,
Mhm. That is
you
true.
know, and nothing that anyone else can say is ever going to change that. And it was really, really hard for me to accept that not everybody um saw things the same way that I did.
Mhm.
Even though they may have um lived it with me, they didn't really live it with me. They may have grown up in the exact same household under the exact same roof,
Mhm.
but they were not wearing the same skin that I was wearing, and they were not walking in my shoes.
Yeah. And I do know that this process has been hard for you in many ways. And I also know there's another person in this book with you that has a similar story about how um, her life was harder than someone else under the roof. And I think that it's true. We all have our own experiences and our own memories and our own um, trauma to deal with, and nobody can feel what we feel or understand what we understand. And I think that's part of why your story is so important, because there's other people in the world who have been through something like that, and someone in their life that was either responsible or part of it or anything like that. And I don't know anybody else in the story but you. So I'm only talking about your perspective, not anyone
Mhm.
else's.
Like,
But I
even what I'm saying to you right now,
Mhm.
if someone in my family sees this, they might get offended. They might get hurt.
Mhm.
They might get upset. And I might have to deal with that.
Unfortunately, you've already had to deal with them. And I want to say that you are strong and brave and courageous to do what you're doing, because I think it's not only about a story in a book that is going to help a lot of other people. It's about a story that you lived through and wrote and are trying to heal from. And I think that's important. It's really important, because if we don't talk about it and we don't put words on paper and we don't have the conversations, we can't heal from it. And I just want that for you. I don't care, if you use words that to keep from hurting someone else, because obviously that is not our mission, to hurt other people in the process. But you have to be responsible for your healing, and every other person in the world has to be responsible for theirs. And whether the points of view line up or not, everybody has to deal with their own internal trauma and healing. And I think you have put a lot of effort into that, Karyn.
Into my own healing, I have.
Mhm.
And I'm not done yet.
I don't know that we're ever done,
Right.
but the progress is, I've seen progress in you, and I know how hard you've worked to get where you are, and I'm proud of you. And you deserve to be happy and, have more fulfillment in your life.
Thank you, Dina.
Is there any last things you would like to share or say to anyone? Okay.
Just keep putting one foot in front of the other and take it one day at a time.
Mhm.
That's all any of us can do.
Mhm.
That's all we have is today.
That is very true. Well, I just want to thank you for having this conversation with me.
I thank you for seeking me out and inviting me to be part of this book.
Well, you're welcome. And I can't wait for people to read your story and hear how it helps them.
I'm excited to see what God's going to do with this book.
Me too. Me too. So if y'all are listening to this, the book will be out on September 22nd, 2023. And you'll also be able to hear Karyn on our podcast in the coming weeks. And we hope to see you maybe at our book launch event. So I hope you have a great day. And remember, you matter, you are enough, and you are worthy.
Mhm.